Hello, WrestleNet Radio listeners, and welcome to the latest edition of The Slice of Time. 25 years ago, the news, the notes, the events, the TVs.
The
From
indies.
25 years ago, the indies.
The funny
in professional wrestling. I am joined this week by Archie Mitchell and
What's
Aaron
up,
Maxson.
everybody?
Hello, guys.
What's up, bitches?
How are you, Nate?
We're all doing great here. Great here, other than, tired of the heat.
Yes.
I'm not a summer guy. Never have been.
The heat has dissipated today. It is super comfortable.
I like spring and fall.
That's why I'm sitting on my palatial deck.
And by the way, he said deck, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Just for anybody who wasn't listening.
I love it when the show goes off the rails and it's not even 60 seconds in yet. Would like to thank everybody listening and thank everybody for listening to WrestleNet Radio. We appreciate your support. I actually made an appearance last night on If the Arch Smell What the Arch is Cooking.
Yes.
And that was fun.
Wait, I like that name. If the Arch is cooking.
If the Arch is cooking. We're going to find out. What's he cooking this week?
What's he cooking
He's
this
smoking a turkey?
Yep.
Is he just cooking a brisket? What's he doing
No,
for
it's
us?
grilled cheese. Grilled cheese.
Grilled
Only
cheese.
thing I know how to make. No, I
Grilled
enjoyed
cheese
having
and
you.
tomato soup.
I don't like tomato soup. I like chicken
What?
noodle soup.
Have you ever dumped your grilled
No.
cheese tomato soup? Oh,
No,
that's
sir.
that's
I like-
happy food, man. If you're depressed, you just gotta
Yeah,
do
but
it.
I can't be depressed when I'm eating. There's just
I don't know
I
what
smile.
you're doing up there in Jersey, but you gotta duck the fucking grilled cheese and some tomato soup, man. That's a good fucking meal. Do you guys put chili on top of your spaghetti?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yes, we do.
That's definitely an Ohio thing. If it didn't originate here, I'm pretty sure it did.
With a pinch of cinnamon?
I don't know about the cinnamon. You have to
No
ask the
no
wife.
cinnamon. No.
Oh,
no
you gotta
cinnamon.
put a little pinch of cinnamon in there. Just a
Pinch
pinch.
of cinnamon.
Do you put a pinch of cinnamon in your chili spaghetti?
Yeah, it's good shit.
You've never made? No, you don't. No. Oh, she doesn't. Okay.
What about if you get, not to overtake your show, but what about a peanut butter sandwich with some chili?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Whenever I make chili, I have a peanut butter sandwich. My wife does
Yeah.
not,
Why?
but I do.
Kentuckian.
Why?
They don't understand. They just fucking dig coal and drink whiskey.
Wait, you know what? You know what else they do though? They make the best fucking breakfast on the planet.
I like
Yeah, but
breakfast.
a fucking peanut butter sandwich with some chili. That's
No. Why would you do that?
because it's fucking tasty.
Why?
It's
No.
good. I don't know.
No.
Anyway.
I'll never cook again. Never mind. No more cooking with the art. We didn't
All right.
go.
And on the next edition of Aaron and Archie's Palates. All right, everybody, here we go. 25 years ago this week, a historical week in the history of professional wrestling.
Yes, it is.
As we lead with this story, Hulk Hogan tells the fans to stick it and turns heel. Hulk Hogan did what many thought would never happen, and some WCW officials feared he wouldn't do, even up until a few seconds before he leg dropped Randy Savage. He turned heel. The deal had been slated for many weeks, but not finalized until a few days before the angle occurred. And even a week or two before the angle, WCW was searching for possible backup plans. Hogan sort of turned heel last year, but backed out of going full-fledged heel. That was when he was doing that weird shit where he had like the sword.
Yeah,
like
he had, like, the half
the
mask.
Phantom of the Opera mask.
Yeah, he
Now,
was like trying to be the warlord. It didn't work.
I have a question, though. Was
Mhm.
that the same sword that Drew McIntyre now claims has been forged from a piece of the Loch Ness Monster?
It was about as believable.
I think so, right?
Hogan was going to fight the Loch Ness Monster, but that never happened. Because that would have
Well,
been terrible.
He did fight a guy named Loch Ness, but that was just haystack. Giant haystacks. So,
Lex Luger was originally considered, but the plan was changed weeks back when both management and Hogan agreed that him turning instead would be a better, more money-making idea. Hogan's agreement to turn may have been part of a larger contract extension finalized last week. although that is not confirmed. What is confirmed is that WCW had spent several weeks, despite slating the Hogan angle, looking for alternates. Number one on their list being Bret Hart. Had Bret agreed to come in, it's not a lock that he would have been third man instead of Hogan, since in the last week everyone was sure the Hogan turn was the best possible move.
Could you imagine how terrible it would have been if it was Lex Luger?
Right?
Yeah, what a popcorn fart that would have been.
Like, not knocking Luger, but that would have been terrible.
Here's the thing. The outsiders were extremely cool when they came into WCW. They had that badass cool factor. And when Hogan joined, for the first couple weeks, it was kind of like, well, is he, going to be in that same realm? Is he going to be cool? Is he going to be, a badass? And thanks to editing and all of the promos they were doing, and Nash and Hall only letting Hogan do the back end of them, it came off as cool.
Yeah.
Luger would have been too boring and relaxed. It wouldn't have worked. And Bret Hart, I don't think would have came off. I mean, we all know how well Bret Hart did with the NWO when he actually joined them when he came in. So I think Hogan was the best choice. If not Hogan, Shawn Michaels then.
Yeah.
But they weren't getting Michaels, so
one of my favorite NWO things is they would be like, the NWO shirt, $20. If you want to buy two, it's only $40.
Yeah. If you want to buy $1 million, it's only $20 million. Buy the shirt.
Buy the shirt.
I also have to say this, because I am actually, even though we're doing 25 years ago in the show every week, I just got through. I always watch everything chronologically through the network or whatever. I just got through 96. I'm into 97. I got to say this. 96, this period in 96 through most of 1997 is probably the best naturally, physically Hogan ever looked.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the 80s when he was on the gas, he was usually pretty kind of bloated. He had the big arms and stuff, but he always, even if he wasn't properly spray tanned or whatever, he looked kind of chubby in the middle and puffy in the face. During this time, I don't know if I don't know if he switched to HGH or what, but he definitely looked the best physically, like the most normal and healthy physically that he ever looked. I think
when he got off it, when they went through the Saharian thing, he looked leathery. Yeah, he didn't look right. And it was a drastic change. That might be the thing with like the 92, like late 92, 93 Hogan. It's like they took the fucking air out of a tire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. All right. The pay-per-view itself, 8,000 in attendance in Daytona Beach, Florida, July 7th, 1996. It was 8,000 in attendance, 6,400 paid. Rey Mysterio in the opener pinned Psychosis. And I remember that match being fantastic, of course.
Oh, yeah.
John Tenta pinned Big Bubba. Yes, it continues, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that was the blow-off to the feud because
that was the silver dollar on a pole match.
That's where they ended it. Yep.
Jimmy Hart had to climb the pole because both of them big motherfuckers looked at that thing.
And Jimmy even had trouble getting up there. Like, who thought it was a good idea to put a 25-foot pole up on a ring and said, yeah, one of these 400-pound bastards is getting up there.
Diamond Dallas Page pinned Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Duggan couldn't tape his fist.
I think was that for the was that I don't remember. The ring deal.
Fuck what it was for. It was terrible. I guarantee it was terrible.
The Nasty Boys beat Public Enemy in a double dog collar chain match.
Oh, that was probably fantastic. Nod.
Dean Malenko beat Disco Inferno via submission to retain the Cruiserweight title.
I believe that was a good matchup because Disco at this time when he was getting into the Cruiserweight division actually was starting to put on a decent match.
And I remember that match because Shivani was talking about how much offense Disco was getting on Dean.
Right.
I remember that.
I think we discussed this match on the last show. Steve McMichael pinned Joe Gomez.
We discussed how they were going into that match. Yeah.
Yeah. And why?
Bad feud.
Yeah. Ric Flair pinned Conan to capture the United States title.
Yes. Now, what I found weird about Conan's entire title reign, he won that belt during a dark match at a pay-per-view against One Man Gang.
Mm-hmm.
One Man Gang won the belt by mistake. I think he beat Sting for it by mistake.
Well, no. What happened was they, on the show, Kensuke Sasaki
Yes.
got beat by the One Man Gang. But then, okay, so they had the One Man Gang like win it, but then for the audience in attendance, the match got continued, and Kensuke Sasaki retained the title.
Right.
But then on TV, they only showed up until One Man Gang got the false finish and gave the belt to Gang. So I don't know if something happened with Sasaki or I don't know what happened there.
I think the whole New Japan love relationship they were having kind of got a little soured. Like, or maybe Bischoff was like, we got the NWO coming in. We don't need the Japanese guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then One Man Gang, I think, held it for like 2 months. And only defended it like twice.
Yeah, I was going to say did next to nothing with it. Yeah.
And then Conan won it and had a decent reign. But then, no, Ric Flair needs a U.S. title run, Conan. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what we got here.
And that Flair Conan match was clunky as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching it. It was clunky.
If I'm not mistaken,
neither one of them knew what to do with the other one.
It was either Elizabeth or Woman grabbed Conan's foot and held it under the rope just to end the match because they couldn't get to a finish. You know.
The Giant and Kevin Sullivan beat Chris Benoit and Arn Anderson when the Giant pinned Arn.
That was a good match.
And then, of course, the main event, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan fought Sting, Lex Luger, and Randy Savage to a no contest. And then, of course...
Hulk Hogan, you can stick it.
Yes.
Now, explain something to me, though, because I recently rewatched this match again about 3 days ago. Hogan entered the ring, hit the first leg drop. Then he hit the second one, and he gave them the thumbs up to, say, I'm with you guys. Okay, great. But then he throws the referee out of the ring. Why didn't he just deliver the third leg drop and get the pinfall win over WCW? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if he wouldn't have touched the ref, that match doesn't end in a no contest or a disqualification. It ends by the NWO winning.
They lost the plot on the match.
Right.
And got deep into the angle, I think is probably what happened there.
They're like, we don't screw this. Yeah.
We don't care about the finish. We care about the ultimately. And of course, Hogan cuts the promo at the end. Eric Bischoff would still be selling meat in Minneapolis if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. And I love how I love is how he's supposed to be shooting. And I'm taking nothing away from the promo because at the time, let me tell you, folks, it blew all of us away.
It was great.
But you go back and listen to it now, and I love it when Hogan's supposed to be shooting because he'll use like terms like, and then there's a promotion up north, brother. You know, like instead of just saying WWF.
Right.
All right, so.
But they had also gotten
the cease and desist.
The cease and desist. Like,
right.
Do you work for the WWF? No. Jerry McGill was fighting at Eric. So he was like, let's say the promotion up north. I don't need this fucking drama.
The other big news story here for this week, we'll move into WWF news. The Ultimate Warrior suspended by the WWF.
Yet again.
After a week of internal debate, Monday the WWF decided to suspend the Ultimate Warrior until he posted appropriate bond to assure he would appear in the future when advertised. After contractual disagreements the week before, Warrior no-showed 3 weekend events. Subsequent discussions between the WWF and Warrior included a proposal by the WWF that Warrior simply post a bond that would give him additional incentive to appear as advertised and not constantly find issues unresolved. Let me see here. I think there are... I wanted to read this. Since last week's deadline, Ultimate Warrior did release a statement. On July 2nd, Warrior posted the following message on the WWF America online site.
Probably quasi-racist and homophobic.
Right.
Ultimate Warrior. Yes, the real one, not some pitiful imitation or someone hiding behind their computer screen wishing they could be something they will never be.
What?
For the past 3 years of my life, I have sat back and watched as others have spoken for me, some in support, some in disapproval of what the Ultimate Warrior represented the world of sports entertainment, both in and out of the ring. I will never, could never, can never live up to all the opinions, judgments, and rumors others wish to spread about me. In knowing so, I long ago chose not to inflict the same vicious expression upon others. Therefore, in response to recent rumors of my non-appearance WWF events Indianapolis, Detroit, and Pittsburgh, I make the following statement from my office in Scottsdale, Arizona. Since my return at WrestleMania in March, there has been from day one contractual discussion for one reason. Titan Sports has not made the finalization of my contract a priority, yet I have fulfilled all aspects of the agreement that we do have. Although the rumors speculate my recent no-show at the listed venues is contractually related, the truth is my father passed away. If resolving my personal issues and protecting the way I chose to believe puts me in the WWF doghouse as stated on the money-making 1-900 line, then so be it. Bow wow and kiss my ass. Always believe, Warrior. Bow wow and kiss my ass.
That was
He said bow wow and kiss my ass.
Yeah, like,
Vince McMahon was like, "What? No, no idea what you just said."
Shane was like, "Dad, I understood every word up until Bow Wow. What's going on here?"
But anyway, Warrior and the WWF having problems as per usual at this time and every time he ever worked anywhere. Warrior
Amazing,
had problems.
Though. Hogan reinvented himself, and in the same week, Warrior buried himself.
Yeah, bow wow and kiss my ass.
Bow wow and kiss my ass.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan's out there like the fans can stick it, and Warrior's like bow wow,
Kiss my ass.
And this is the
I'm
real.
gonna say that anybody for like the next 2.5 months. Anybody that has a problem with me, I'm just gonna say bow wow and kissing my ass,
I'm gonna use
and then
that
just
as my,
walk away.
I'm gonna use that as my sign off for my show. Bow wow, and kiss my ass. Until next time.
Speak to me, Warriors.
What the? This is the real Ultimate Warrior, not so. Who's pretending to be the Ultimate Warrior?
Other than Rick Williams,
Right, the Renegade. But I mean, he wasn't behind a computer screen. He was actually pretending to be the Ultimate Warrior.
And I heard Rick Williams said, "Woof woof, kiss my ass." He's an imitator.
Woof woof, and kiss my buttocks.
Kiss my patootie. All right, let's see. More WWF news here. Sonny and Skip announced their engagement last week. They've been together 6 years. Chris brought Tammy into wrestling. Barry Windham had a meeting in Titan Towers, and it sounds as if they're intent on getting a deal signed to give him a shitty gimmick.
Ooh, the stalker.
Yeah, we're going to see the stalker.
You know what's horrible? Barry Windham in all three of his incarnations before he became a blackjack in the WWE were crappy. I mean, the Can-Am Express was okay because he had, Captain Lou with him and Mike Rotundo. But after that, he was the Widowmaker, Barry Windham.
He had Captain Lou. Mike Rotundo didn't bring much to the table.
Well, I mean, they were a decent tag team, but he was the Widowmaker after that. Then he was the Stalker.
Yeah,
and then they were just like, "We're going to make you your dad." And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah, but see, this is my thing about Barry. Okay, I love Barry Windham.
I do too.
But
I do too.
There were points in Barry Windham's career where he was lazy.
I agree.
I don't want to like talk smack about it, but he was fucking lazy. But like when he was the Widowmaker, Jesus Christ! Like I watched him on a prime time the other day, and they had the Widowmaker out there. He was like when he was the Widowmaker, he was in the best shape of his fucking career.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that should have been something. But I don't think he.
He also got distracted in life because that shit went down with his dad.
Yeah, and I know like the Artful Dodger will say shit like with Kerry Taylor, like with the Red Rooster, like he didn't embrace the gimmick or whatever. But
how do you embrace that gimmick?
I think if Barry would have been in a better place mindset wise,
yeah,
Widowmaker shit would have been great.
No, I
really
agree. I agree, but I also think that because of where he came from, Vince was hell bent on making him look like crap, no matter what. Because if you look at it, yeah, Arn and Tully got over somewhat in the WWF, but then Tully failed a wellness test and got fired. Ric Flair did okay in the WWF, but until he came back, he wasn't really Ric Flair. So I think whoever came in there, like has always happened in WWF, they were looking to shit on them. And I think Barry was just another one of those people.
It was humorous though, like when he'd come out with the face. Like at first he came out full face paint and everything, like he was trying to embrace it. And then after a while he'd come out with the face paint, but he had like the big mustache and like sticking out of the face paint.
Yeah, and he had the full fatigues on, but blonde hair is sticking out.
Yeah. And I know we're fixating on the stalker gimmick, and this will be the last thing I say about the Widowmaker, but imagine fucking Barry Windham in the shape that he was in actually getting to have a fucking program with Hulk Hogan. Yeah. God damn it. That would have been fucking fantastic.
Oh, I agree.
Because take what you want to say about Hogan, but Hogan, when he needed to be, could be a fantastic fucking worker.
Yep.
And Hogan versus Barry Windham in the shape that he was in, Jesus Christ, that would have been fucking money.
Oh, I agree.
Let's see here. We got Jake Roberts now faces Jerry Lawler, not Steve Austin, at SummerSlam. Also at a 4-way tag match. It was what?
That Lawler Snake match.
We're gonna be covering that in August.
Yeah.
That's when Lawler brings out that big ass
and the most gigantic bottle of booze you've ever seen in your life. And then when he takes it off, he's like, when he takes off the thing, he's like, oh!
Yeah, that's not this.
Happy about it.
That's not this.
No. Well, they're talking about how that match is now advertised for SummerSlam coming up.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be Jake Roberts and Austin, which gets changed to Austin and Yokozuna on the pre-show. But the current WWF magazine drops hints of Mankind getting a manager. Recent dissension between The Undertaker and Paul Bearer suggests a surprise turn may be upcoming for Bearer, and we all know where that goes.
Oh, damn.
123 Kid met with Vince McMahon at Titan Towers last week regarding his future with the company.
And he bounced.
Yes, he did.
He's like, look, my buddy just went to WCW. Let me go, man.
Yeah.
They're giving guaranteed money. Vince.
And that's, well, at that point, Vince was probably like, well, we got no, and I mean, they obviously don't have plans for him anyway.
Vince was like, dude, you're 125 pounds soaking wet. Get the fuck off out of my office and go to WCW. I don't care.
Let's see what we got here for as far as WWF house shows for this week. July 5th in East Rutherford, New Jersey at the Meadowlands. Howard Finkel announced that due to family problems, Owen Hart, British Bulldog. I don't understand why Marty Jannetty. I understand why Owen Hart and British... I understand why Owen Hart and Bulldog, because I think at this time, this is when, remember their nephew or whatever died?
Yeah.
The one that Brett said he was dedicating his comeback to and all that.
He was the sickest kid in Canada.
Yeah. I think this is the week where that kid either was really, really sick or passed away. I don't understand why Marty Jannetty must have had another family issue or couldn't get to the airport or whatever.
That kid's name was Matt or something like that. Yeah, I'm not making light of the kid. I'm just saying I think his name is Matt.
I think you're right. No, Marty couldn't find his shoes. Marty couldn't find his shoes and just said to hell with it. Leave Cassidy. He'll have to be on his own.
One day we'll get a story about this, how Marty killed a pizza delivery guy or something behind it and threw him in a dumpster that night. In the opener, Duke Drosy beat Leif Cassidy. See?
Marty wasn't there. Therefore, Leif Cassidy had to lose to Duke Drosy.
The dumpster. All right. Salvatore Sincere beat Barry Horowitz.
Oh, boy.
Sincerely.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. The Body Donnas won a 3-way tag match against the Smoking Guns and the Godwins.
I liked the Body Donnas.
I did, too.
Me, too. Didn't like him once they turned him face.
I even liked him then. Tom Pritchard and Skip were a good team.
They were, but they should have used the double team a little more, that they looked alike, and been a little more underhanded.
Shawn Michaels beat Vader by disqualification when Goldust interfered. And then Ahmed Johnson came out to help Shawn Michaels. And let me see what... I'm sure this was unintelligible to hear on the house mic, but apparently afterward, Ahmed Johnson held up the Intercontinental title and told Goldust, when you mess with Michaels, you're messing with me. You want this belt back? Get your ass in the ring and get it. And then we had a match between Ahmed Johnson and Goldust. Goldust deliberately got counted out.
So it probably sounded like a...
Stop making noises at me, Ahmed Johnson.
It probably sounded similar to like Hannibal opening up an interview segment.
Aaron, that was the best impression of Ahmed Johnson I've ever heard.
You're welcome.
Steve Austin pins Savio Vega in a no disqualification match.
I bet that was really good. Those guys had good matches.
Every time. They never
did,
disappointed.
But it felt like whenever they needed a go-to for Austin, it was like, put Savio with him again.
Savio was, if you want to get something out of somebody, Savio was the fucking workhorse of the WWF from like 95 to 96. He was the man. He was like the Jake Roberts of that era, in my opinion.
The gatekeeper.
Yeah, if you can't get a good match out of Savio, you're fucking done.
Speaking of Jake, in the next match, he pinned Justin Bradshaw with a DDT. Mark Marrow pinned Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The Undertaker pinned Mankind with a tombstone. And that was the main event of that show. Let's see. There's two more. They look very similar. July 6th in New Haven, Connecticut. Drosy beat Cassidy, Sincere beat Horowitz, Roberts beat Bradshaw, Body Donnas beat Godwins and Guns, Michaels beat Vader via DQ, and Goldust interfered. Ahmed Johnson beat Goldust. Austin beat Vega, Marrow pinned Hunter, and Taker pinned Mankind. The exact same card. They changed nothing about that.
Nate, am I the only one who feels that maybe they should have put Barry Horowitz and Salvatore Sincere together as a tag team and maybe named them similar Spice Palette or something? You know what I mean?
I think you were going to say Sincerely Jewish.
No. That's too blatant. We'll get thrown off the air for that.
All right. That's it for the news for the WWF. Let's take a look. Monday Night Raw.
What's the matter, you boy?
What's the matter, you?
Boy. You got to have the oi at the end.
Do they have the Arby's curly fries?
Yes.
Oh, they have.
Yes, they do.
The July the 8th Monday Night Raw. The show opened with Gorilla announcing the indefinite suspension of the Warrior. But, of course, Gorilla had to say, but the Warrior will compete tonight in what could be his final match in the WWF against Owen Hart. Because it was taped.
We taped 9 months in advance.
Ago,
yeah.
So Warrior beat Owen Hart by disqualification. And this is kind of the WWF. It was kind of advantageous, if you think about it, that this happened with the Warrior on this week, because WCW just did their Who's the Third Man mystery. Mm-hmm. And then throughout this entire Monday Night Raw, they're building up Who's the Third Man for International Incident. And obviously we're going to get to it being Psycho Sid. Let's see here. Savio Vega pinned Bradshaw. Vader and British Bulldog beat the Godwins. Jerry Lawler on commentary said, in Arkansas, Hee Haw is a documentary. It's a funny line. It's a very funny line. And then, of course, they did like I said, they built throughout the show who was going to be Michaels and Ahmed's tag team partner. And of course, it turned out at the end, the big reveal, it's going to be Psycho Sid.
And is that when Cornette was like, "What?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Now it's interesting that
Jimmy was such a great fucking talent. Shouldn't say was. It's a fucking great talent.
It's
Man,
interesting
Jim
that
Cornette, you can't say enough good things about Jim Cornette.
it's interesting that we just got to this point in a slice of time, and Aaron is at the Royal Rumble, where Sid and HBK finally met for the world title on the year that was, because this is actually what started that feud. Sean brings Sid back. They team together a little bit. They kind of are friendly, but they're not. And then we go into the Royal Rumble, and they're already feuding.
It's one of my favorite Rumbles, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
There's not a lot. There's no WCW house shows to report. There's no WCW TV tapings to report, but we've got...
Because Bischoff said, fuck that.
Right. Stick it.
Had Hulk Hogan backed out of his heel turn in the final days, hours, or minutes, the contingency plan was for Sting to actually turn heel. They had set that up with Sting knocking Luger out accidentally earlier in the match. No other former WWF wrestler was backstage in case Hogan backed out. The funniest theory on Blood Runs Cold is that Eric Bischoff, a legit black belt in karate, will turn out to be one of them.
Now, explain something to me, though. That means even during the match, they thought Hogan might turn around and go, "I'm not turning, brother. I can't do this."
Actually,
Sullivan and Dullen.
Yeah. I was to say it's
Dullen.
Dullen. It's JJ Dillon's kayfabe commentary shoot. He tells the very detailed about it. Like Sullivan and him, and they were in and out of Hogan's trailer all day. And Sullivan was like standing behind Hogan the thing in case they were afraid.
Bischoff said, "Sullivan, stick to that motherfucker like glue."
Wow.
When he, just in case he doesn't say I don't want to turn, just stick to him and say, "Brother, this is what you got to do."
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, that would have been so odd then if, like, halfway through the match after Sting took the beating, all of a sudden he just revives and goes, "Okay, time to turn." You know, the ref gets in his ear and is like, "All right, it's you. It's going to be you, Sting."
So this is kind of interesting, and this is literally is, well, let's see. Anyway, the original or the latest report as of this week is that the Blood Runs Cold was going to be a 6 men feuding 3-3 with Brian Clark, who does wind up being Wrath,
Brian,
and Sugar Ray Lloyd, who we know is Glacier, and a martial arts expert. So the original plan apparently was for, and this is a sheets, so it is what it is, but it's still fun to talk about.
Right.
But the opposing force was going to be Chris Kanyon, who does wind up being Mortis.
Mortis, right.
Kurosawa, and Pat Tanaka.
Oh, Jesus. They were just using Pat Tanaka for everything back then.
Pajama pants.
Shit, why didn't they get Paul Diamond under a mask and be like, "You're the seventh guy"?
Because his mullet wouldn't have fit under the mask.
Why? It did when he was Sato or Kato or whatever the hell he was supposed to be.
Fucking touche, Archie. Touche.
They were going to call him Lax Loon.
So this Nitro that happens the night after the Bash at the Beach, those Disney MGM Nitros to me are some of the coolest looking Nitros.
I agree.
Oh man.
With the big WCW sign, and as the show's going on, the sun sets, so you start and it's bright out, and by the time you're done, it's dark. Those are some cool fucking looking wrestling shows, man. I don't care what anybody says.
I always liked that you could see the Disney entrance right behind it. So, like, if a wrestler would have stumbled in while fighting in the middle of, like, one of the parks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have a false count anywhere, and it ends up on the Matterhorn or, Space Mountain. Ric Flair's on Space Mountain going, "Woo!" You know what I mean?
Woo!
But you guys agree, though? Those are some cool looking. Yeah, it was a very cool look.
Yeah, and Nate, you and I were talking about it earlier with Chad. It's like WCW's production value was like, ooh, all the way up to here, then just
Yep.
figured out, man.
Well, on the Nitro, following the Bash at the Beach, in the opening matchup, Rey Mysterio pinned Dean Malenko.
That was a good match.
Probably fantastic.
It was.
The Blue Bloods beat Hugh Morris and Big Bubba after John Tenta came out and brawled with Bubba to the back. Still going on.
I thought it was over after the Silver Dollars.
You were wrong. Eddie Guerrero pinned Psychosis. You had a lot of interviews in this Nitro with guys saying, some guys saying like Kevin Sullivan and Bobby Heenan stayed true to their characters. Like, we've been telling you about Hogan, Kevin Sullivan be like, I've been telling you about Hogan since he arrived. And
nobody told you it was going to be
easy. Rick and Scott Steiner beat the Nasty Boys. Those guys always had good matches against each other. I always like watching the Steiners wrestle the Nasties. They just fucking beat the fuck out of each other.
Right.
The Nasties are an underrated team.
They really are. They had their lazy moments,
Like when they were going against Public
Enemy.
But they were a great tag team.
How do I want to say this? Brian Knobs had lazy moments. But Jerry Sags always brought it, in my opinion. Like, Jerry Sags was really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
Ric Flair pinned Jim Powers to retain the United States title.
Just who hasn't?
Right.
Chris Benoit pinned Craig Pittman.
Because who hasn't?
Sting beat Arn Anderson.
Damn.
And then Okerlund, to end the show, Okerlund interviewed Hall and Nash. I think this is that interview where they're just like sitting on the back of a car or whatever, off to the side of the arena, because Hogan wasn't on this show. They didn't have Hogan on this show. They were hyping that he'd be on next week. And then the show closed with highlights of Hogan's turn, and that is all. I mean, I know Bash at the Beach dominated, but that was all the WCW news for the week.
Now, you remember when Hall and Nash first came in? And Hall asked where the Huckster was. Nash said something like, I believe it was, "Where's Hogan? Is he off taping another episode of Blunder in Paradise?" And yet, when Hogan joined the NWO, they made no mention of the jokes.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even try to, say, and they made it sure that you guys couldn't tell I was coming in because they ragged on me,
And it shows you that, like we've talked about the past few weeks, they didn't know exactly. They didn't know what they fucking had. Like, they were like, well, all right, this shit's all happening, and we got something going on here, but I don't know exactly what we're gonna do.
even as we were younger, when it was Hogan, we all went, what the hell? Wait a minute, this can't happen, because they made it seem like they were anti-Hogan.
Right.
They didn't want anything to do with the older guys and with tradition and establishment. But then as the wheels started to turn and you get more into who came in, like DiBiase, Six, Virgil, God bless him. Now I owe him $20 for mentioning his name. Except for guys like Scott Norton, Stevie Ray, and what's his name? Mike Rotunda, and Buff. It was all former WWF guys that were in the NWO, even Brian Adams.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like a bunch of degenerate WWF guys coming in and going, "We're taking over." And Hogan, being the most dejected of all of them, getting thrown out of the WWF because of the steroid scandal, was like, "Yeah, and I'm here to take over with them. But I've been here 3 years, and I held your world title 3 times already." So
and I made everything really, really shitty while I was here. So
where's Kamala?
I
like that the Dungeon of Doom stayed true for like the first 2 months of the NWO, because Hogan beat the Giant for the world title and everything. But then after the Giant turned and became a member of the NWO, the Dungeon of Doom just slowly faded away.
Yeah.
It was just Kevin Sullivan battling Chris Benoit on his own.
So news-wise, not a lot. It's funny because we have a lot of huge stories, but not a lot of little news. Not a lot of little news in ECW either. We'll just go through this real quick and then talk about the ECW TV, and then we'll be ready for indie results.
Yay!
Indies.
Yes!
Add to the July 12th Ag Hall card in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Sandman versus Blue Dust. All right, we'll add it.
Oh, man.
Add to the June 13th ECW card, Gangstas versus Samoan Gangsta Party, Sabu versus Louis Spicoli, and ECW debut of Tarzan Goto.
Who?
Tarzan Goto.
I don't remember him.
I don't either. ECW will soon move to Empire Sports Network, a Prime affiliate in upstate New York, Sunday nights at 11 p.m. ECW starts airing Friday nights at 1 a.m. in Burlington, Vermont. I'm sure they were knocking down the doors for ECW in Burlington. And ECW starts on TV in Boston Friday at 1 a.m. with a clearance of 3 million homes. The only other news announced already for the August 3rd at the ECW Arena is Sabu versus Rob Van Dam in a stretcher match. And then ECW TV for this week. It was the TV from July the 5th, 1996. If you want to hear us review ECW TV shows, by the way, check out Reliving the Extreme if you have not.
Yeah, if you haven't, what the fuck is wrong with you?
The show opened with
podcast in the world.
The show opened with Raven talking about the dedication of parents to their children, but in Sandman's case, his son chose to worship Raven instead. And of course, we get the Raven promos. I think this is the one where Tyler looked into the camera and did the quote, "The Raven Nevermore."
Yep.
Look all creepy and shit. So
That kid looked like he was one of the children of the corn when he did that.
and Raven
He looked
laughed.
weird.
Raven laughed and said, "I control the children, or at least Sandman's." He was so good. I love Scott.
He was.
Joey Styles talked about the return of the better than ever Terry Gordy. And then Chris Jericho pinned Pitbull number 2 to capture the ECW TV title.
Yes.
A clip aired of FBI taunting Bubba Ray Dudley to say his name, and he said it without stuttering for the first time ever. He slapped JT Smith and jumped up and down in excitement. That always made me laugh when Bubba would do that little...
Buh, buh, buh. And someone would smack him upside the head and he'd bubba.
And then Tommy Dreamer pinned Brian Lee in a weapons match. Those guys wrestled a lot.
They were in a blood
Brian
feud.
Lee, when Brian Lee was in ECW, like they wrestled each other a lot.
and Brian Lee was beating Tommy like 90% of the time. Tommy only won the high profile matches in that, like the scaffold match and the tables match. He never would just win on an off night, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess that was doing good because it did put Brian Lee over for whatever it was worth, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd never say they didn't work well together. I mean, they always worked well together, but yeah, they worked together a lot. Okay, let's take a break.
Okay.
And then we'll do the indie shows, and we'll be and we'll be done.
Are we doing Aaron? Are we doing the year that was, or no, for the Royal Rumble?
It's up to Nate.
We'll see what time we get done.
Okay.
What do you think? It'll take like a half hour, maybe, Aaron?
Yeah. 15, 30 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what this shouldn't be too much longer. And because of the lack of news, really, this show's not going to be as long as they normally are. So maybe we will be able to knock that out real quick tonight.
All right.
Cool.
Okay. I'll be right back.
All right. Why are you dropping trees? What's going on?
I'm not dropping trees. I'm walking.
Oh, I didn't know you walked that heavy. Welcome back, Mr. Maxon.
Thank you, thank you. Aaron's right. It is cooling off out there. I've had the AC on, so I didn't realize it. But
Yeah, we had a pour down thunderstorm a little while ago, and you'd think it would make it cooler, but it did not.
what usually happens here is like it'll rain in the middle of the day, and then the sun comes out, and then it just makes it fucking humid.
Yep, that's what we've been getting to. It'll rain like today. It rained at 2 o'clock, and then it gets its hottest at 4:30, 5 o'clock here. So of course that, like you said, humid, and then it rained again at 6 o'clock. But it poured down.
Yeah,
And it didn't cool off until just like about an hour ago. So,
like I said, I'm not a fan of summer. However, this new house I keep bragging about it, but I'm super excited because
Right.
this will be the first house that I've had that has a yard big enough for a pool.
Okay.
So next year I'm gonna bite the bullet and get a pool next year. I'm probably just gonna do an above ground
Right.
and build a deck around it, but because I have a buddy that has an in ground, and the horror stories I hear about maintaining it,
Right.
fuck that shit. Like it doesn't even seem like it would be fun to have it.
Right. At the
I
end
will
of the day,
float
you're
like a
what?
goddamn egg in your pool.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get one because we'll have a yard big enough for one. So, and like I told Kendall, I said if we're gonna do it, let's just go ahead and
big.
yeah. Let's not just get some cheap ass pool, some $400 pool or whatever. Let's just go ahead and bite the bullet and get a nice pool, and then eventually build a deck around it. And
Nate's gonna walk out on his deck with his coffee in the morning.
yeah,
See Aaron laying in the pool like Billy Madison.
Face down, probably.
No, you're gonna be on a raft with like
Couple-
a beer in
couple-
your hand.
couple beer cans floating in the pool.
Right. Nate's gonna be, and then Aaron's gonna be like, "Come on in, the water's fine."
I need 27 seconds.
Is that what you need?
I gotta grab a bag. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh, hey, I was. I don't know if you might not be because I don't know if you're an LJN guy or not.
But
But
on the LGN.
I'm in that rubber rumble group.
Right.
$10 on a raffle. Okay.
Right. What'd you win?
I won. Well, I got to pick. I won an LJN I've always wanted, so I'm not going to do anything but keep this one. I've always wanted the Warlord.
Dude, that's like a $400 figure.
I know, but I'm a huge Warlord mark, so this is actually
I know
going in
you
the
are.
collection.
Right.
However, this bad boy is either going to get auctioned or put on eBay. This Haku,
Dude, again, that's another
That is- yeah.
$400 or $500 figure.
and this fucking thing is in good shape, and it's not repaint. It's
Right.
not a repaint. Like, you know how you can tell a repaint, like you touch it,
Yeah.
it's sticky, you
Yeah.
know? And no, this thing is in. I mean, he's got a little wear on the butt,
Right.
but I mean, overall, this is $300,
That's a
$400 right here. And that one, I'm not keeping him, but I'm definitely keeping Warlord.
Even if you lowball it at 200, you've had
Mhm.
10 invested. And dude, you got a free Warlord at $200. That ain't bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm in that group because actually those guys that run that group seem pretty legit. I mean,
Well, yeah, there's really not a whole lot you could do with LJN as far as scamming.
mhm.
Like I know there's a few guys who 3D print them, or do silicone molds of them. But
yeah,
you could tell which ones are the fake ones and the real ones. So the only way you get scammed on them is if you buy it and the guy don't send it.
right.
So
Well, that or the one that I won from, I don't even remember that guy's name now, that used to have the LJN group that was a real scam artist.
Ronnie James.
No, not him.
No?
There was another one. I'd have to ask Magic because Magic knows him. But anyway, I won
okay, yeah.
I won a Piper MOC from him once, which I only put $5 in the raffle anyway.
Right.
But then I got it and it was totally re-glued and shit. So I just opened it. It's like Magic said. He's like, at least now you've got an accessory.
A minty Piper, right.
Yeah.
A minty Piper.
No, that
These
dude
were
was
my
bad.
favorite LJNs. You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Bruno?
The Burn. I love
My
him.
favorite is Terry Funk.
I have a Terry Funk. He's a little beat up.
Did you see the ones I won, or were you gone then?
I was gone.
I was in a raffle and I put $10 in. And I won one of the ones I've always wanted because I'm a mark for the Warlord.
Yeah. That's a fake one though, right?
No, it's the black card. That was the last series.
That's a fake one, right?
That was the series that had the Ultimate Warrior and Haku in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're more rare now because they weren't
Later.
popular then, so they made less of them.
And I really like this one.
You like Hercules?
Hercules.
I do too. I have one of those. I actually like the Ken Patera LJN too. I have a Ken Patera LJN.
I used to pretend that was the Barbarian when we would
Let me
play.
grab my Terry Funk for a minute. Hold on.
I tried to get into LJN and I realized they just took up too much room.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like LJNs, I'm not like with Hasbro's. I was a completionist.
Right.
With LJNs, I'm not. I get the ones that I think are cool, and then I skip it on other ones. You know,
Right.
I don't need to have all the Hogans. I don't need to, but.
Well, look, if you would have won for $10 one of those white shirt or yellow shirt Hogans, yeah, I'm sure you would have taken it.
I have a white shirt Hogan.
You do?
Yeah.
Damn.
My
He's
Terry
not
Funk's beat to shit.
Yeah, but that happens to all the Terry Funks.
And
Yeah, I have a white shirt Hogan, but he's not in great shape.
And I'm not a guy that's like, oh, I'm gonna sell this. Like I sold that fucking, what was that little Japanese girl?
Riho?
Yeah, I sold
You
that.
sold it to Dan.
Yeah, I sold that chick for like $180. I didn't even know what it had. But
You want to hear a crack up? 3 days after you sold it to Dan for 180, it crashed from being 220 to being about 110. So you actually, it's good you sold it when you did, because it's just now climbing back up to the 200 mark.
I drank that shit.
Hey,
But this is my Terry Funk.
I love Terry Funk.
I don't have a Funk. I have a Bob Orton. The Bob Orton figure. The worst thing about the Bob Orton figure is there's no way to actually make that figure stand up. You
Nope.
have to you have to lean him on another figure to get him to display. Currently, he's leaning on Hercules on my shelf right now.
You picked the right guy.
All right, let's see here.
That's how my Iron Sheik is. Iron Sheik does not stand up.
In real life either. All right. Hold on, let me write this down here. 56, so we'll say 57. All right, guys. Now let's
rumble thing.
If you want to, we can. We'll be done. We'll be done soon enough.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and grab it real quick.
Oh, sorry. This is how the sausages are made, bitches.
All right, guys, here we go to round out the show. It's Archie's favorite moment.
Yes.
Indie highlights from this week, 25 years ago, 1996. Well,
Nate?
some of the indie highlights in here are from June, but that's okay.
Nate, I'm
Yes,
giving you permission to take when I say yes and make it into like a screen, like a screen grab or like a voice clip, so that if I'm never on the show and you go, it's indie time, you could just have me go yes.
All right, we're writing that down. Get Archie's yes. Let's see here. June 14th, Lakewood, Ohio, Cleveland All Pro Wrestling at Fantasy Nightclub with 130 in attendance.
They were all drunk because they were at the club.
Fantasy is spelled with a PH, by the way. Classy.
Oh, man. I wonder what kind of club it was then.
Well, Theater of Pain, who are Techo and Jamming. The guy's name was Jamming.
Now, wait a second. Your name is Theater of Pain.
Mm-hmm. And
your names are Techo
and Jamming.
Shouldn't they have been like Lucifer and like,
yeah, right.
I don't know, Dracula? I mean, something. You know what I mean? But Techo and Jamming.
They beat Super Mario.
Oh God.
And Lee Brow. A couple of famous guys in this next match. Bobby Blaze beat Sexton Hardcastle.
Edge.
Yes.
Nice.
Jimmy Valiant and Bo James beat JT Lightning and Outlaw Johnny Valens.
Now, JT Lightning was a mainstay in Cleveland, in the Ohio area.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away a few years back, and they still do the JT Lightning Memorial Cup every year in Ohio.
Apparently, Jimmy Valiant was the man that shot Outlaw Johnny Valens because he and Bo James, a stupid joke. He and Bo James won that match. And Manny Fernandez beat Johnny. Or no, wait, I'm sorry. Okay, I was right. Manny Fernandez beat Johnny Hollywood Singer by disqualification.
Nice. In the Raging Bull.
Not Johnny Swinger, Johnny Singer.
Garbage.
Garbage. How could you say that about the Raging Bull?
Championship Wrestling. Oh,
Right, I shouldn't say anything bad about him. He served in Nam. The
with
Boogie-
Jimmy Valiant. Championship Wrestling Federation, June 15th in Berkeley, Michigan at the Ice Arena. I remember reading about this guy in the magazines. Judge Dredd
Yep.
beat Mikey Kelly. Nighthawk fought Johnny Paradise to a no contest.
Wow.
Tommy Starr and Skull Gons. I think Skull Gons still wrestles.
Probably.
Beat the Outlaws to retain the CWF tag titles. Not
Good
a
for
lot.
them.
Not a lot on that card there. North
for them.
Georgia Wrestling, June 20th in Hogansville, Georgia, brother. At the high school. Bubbles the Clown beat Kenny Arden via disqualification. Bubbles the Clown.
Bubbles the Clown.
He probably raped somebody.
And the Punisher beat Bull Ledoux. Those are the only two matches listed for that event.
Damn, the high school got cheated.
Yeah.
Bubbles ruined everything. When Bubbles showed up, they were like, "We can't have any of the kids here now because they have to be 100 feet away from you."
Right.
Bubbles.
Bubbles like, hey kids, you want to see my balloon animal?
Ah!
That wasn't, just so you know, that wasn't my nose.
June 21st in Rome, Georgia at Dillard's Music Park. Doesn't even have a promotion name here. Kid Ego beat Kenny D. You know Kid Ego probably came out to Strokin', right?
Probably.
Jason Valentine. Aaron's going to like this name. Jason Valentine beat Nasty Critter by disqualification.
Nasty Critter.
Nasty Critter.
That name's actually over with me. I want to see the gimmick. Like, I want to see, you know what I mean? I want to see the gimmick.
I want to see Nasty Critter.
Yeah.
But I want to see a guy who like comes out of a dumpster eating garbage and like crapping his pants in the middle of the ring.
And everybody's like, look at that nasty critter.
Right. It's almost like Rad Radford meeting Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Duke the Dumpster Radford, yeah.
Right.
Nasty Critter.
Nasty Critter. Mom, I need a wrestling name. Leave me alone, you nasty critter. That's it.
I got it.
Thanks, Mama.
All right. Steve. Oh, no, my computer screen just. There we go. Steve Lawler. Remember Steve the Brawler Lawler?
No relation to
From
Jerry,
the
I bet.
From the PWI 500s back in the day. I remember that name.
Yep.
Steve Lawler and J.H. Rocker beat Kenny Arden and Superstar. Creative name from that guy.
Nice.
All right. I don't know, LIWA, it's ladies. So I don't know, probably Ladies International Wrestling Association or something.
Right.
The LIWA Annual Convention and Wrestling Show, June 21st in Las Vegas, Nevada. It sounds like this would be a big deal, like it's a ladies convention and wrestling show in Las Vegas at Union Plaza with an attendance of 75.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of drunk businessmen who had nowhere to be at the time.
Yep.
And they're all just jacking off while they watch Nasty Cooter and
Nasty Cooter.
One of the girls goes to the top rope to deliver a moonsault, and all you hear from the crowd is, "Show us your boobs."
Yeah, show us your boobies. What that guy say at that indie show? Aaron, we went to an indie show.
Yeah,
one
I know
time.
what he said.
Archie, listen to this.
Okay.
Was it ODB?
No, it wasn't ODB. It was Trinity.
Okay, yeah, Trinity.
Trinity was at this show in fucking Convoy, Ohio,
Okay.
which is a town that has like 750 people in it.
Okay.
Okay.
And Aaron and I went to this show.
We
Goddamn
went to this show, and just to set it up, like we went out to smoke during halftime, and when we came back in, there was like this little black dude, and he was like dancing to Mustang Sally.
Okay.
In the ring.
In the ring, he was dancing to Mustang Sally while people were buying like slices of pizza and shit.
Right.
And then Trinity comes out there, and she's like the only person on this entire show that actually looks like a wrestler. And she attempts to get the crowd into her match. And she slams this chick that she's working with, and she's like, come on. Like, she does that thing, like she slams him. She slams the chick she's working with. She's like, come on. Like, she's trying to get the people to react to her. And this fucking drunk dude in front of us goes, show us your yabos.
Your yabos.
Oh, God. When you're too drunk to say boobs.
Yeah. Yeah, boobs.
Show us your yabos. I was like, oh, poor Trinity.
Well, at this show, Liz Chase and lovely Lori Lynn co-won a 10-woman battle royal. Order of elimination: Psycho Sybil. I'm so thankful that
Sybil.
I'm so thankful that somebody took the time to actually write this shit down.
I think I'm putting the Royal Rumble notes away.
Order of elimination: Psycho Sybil, Joni Lee. I wonder if that was China.
No.
Joni Lauer, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, no. But anyway, Beautiful Brandy, Patty Bray, Cookie Crumble, Angie Jane, Katie O'Connor, and Margaret Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany Brown pinned Ramblin' Rose. Candy Divine, God, she's still pinned Psycho Sybil. Joni Lee and they got some guys involved here. Joni Lee and Frankie Thumper DeFalco. Remember him from GWF?
Yes.
Sometimes when we're going through these results, I feel like, hey, remember? Anyway, beat Angie Jane and Buddy Valentine. Fabulous Moolah and Johnny Mae Young fought Liz Chase and lovely Lori Lynn to a double disqualification.
Damn.
And actually, this match deserves bigger of an audience than 75 people. Bull Nakano pinned Akira Hakuto.
Damn. The last two matches weren't bad.
Or what was that, Aaron?
Those Japanese chicks are like, what the fuck are we doing
How
here?
we get here? Where the hell did Sonny Ono book us?
Yeah, they're from Japan. They're used to drunk businessmen.
No, it was like what we were talking about with that NWA show you made me watch. Was that Japanese guy on there?
I don't even remember now.
Doesn't matter. But that's how fucking Bull Nakano and the other one probably
Akira Hakuto?
Yeah, that's right how they felt. They were like, oh, we're going to go to America. We're going to learn. We're going to do our thing. And then there's like 7 people there.
Bush League. All right. And our last indie show for this week, to wrap up the show, the North American Wrestling Alliance, June 22nd in Elkin, North Carolina. Scotty Hotbody.
Raven?
Which at this point wouldn't be Raven.
No.
Because Raven's Raven at this point.
Right.
So, somebody with some fucking gimmick infringement here.
Right.
Unless he was finishing out some dates.
Scotty Hotbody, Black Stallion, and Mike Ray beat Flaming Youth, Scotty McKeever, and Crazy Kane Adams. ATOMS.
Okay.
Booty.
David Lynch beat Dozer.
Not Dozer.
Not Dozer.
You can't do that to Dozer.
Is that from the Ghostbusters?
That's Gozer.
That's Gozer.
Texas Outlaw fought Jeff Victory, VICKTORY, to a no contest. And then, to round out the show, Dozer won a battle royal.
Good. See? Now that's how you send the fans home happy. You let Dozer
Everybody
win the battle royal.
Dozer to go.
Dozer's looking for the keymaster.
Yeah.
The promoter's like, look, Dozer, you're going to lose a match earlier on tonight. Dozer's like, fuck, I've been losing all month. But don't worry. We're going to let you win the Battle Royal.
This
Dozer's
is the
like-
show that made Rick Moranis retire.
Dozer's like, yes!
You get to win the Battle Royal in Elkin, North Carolina. Oh, fucking A. Dozer's in the money this week.
Dozer's making the big bucks. No. We're still giving you $15 for the whole show. Fuck!
Damn. I'm still calling off working at the docks on Friday.
I made 25 last week when I didn't win the Battle Royal.
Dozer won the Doritos in a bank match.
That's got taco and Cool Ranch in that briefcase.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much again for joining me this week.
It's always a pleasure.
Talking about 25 years ago in professional wrestling. And like I said, big news week this week with the big stories. There weren't as many small things going on, but the big stories were big enough where it was worth doing a show for, definitely. And we will see.
Wait. You're saying MVP was right.
What did he say?
Big things popping and little things stopping.
Little. It was a deep cut, Archie.
I'm sorry.
Well, thank you, everybody. Keep on listening to WrestleNet Radio, and we will see you next time around here for the Slice of Time. Have a great week, everybody. Okay, so that ends at an hour 11.
I had to get that in there when you said there was big news and no little news.
So you want to do your deal, Aaron?
It's up to you guys.
I'm good with it. We got done earlier than I thought we would. So
right.
And then I can just take. I'll probably have to, because tomorrow night after work I'll have to edit the ECW show. So then Saturday or Sunday night I can take
editing to the ECW show. Just
what?
Let that thing play how it played. ECW show with me and Chad, just let that play how it played.
There's a couple things I got to take out of there.
Why? What?
There's a couple things I got to take out of there.
No, you don't.
But anyway, then I'll whatever we do here, I'll take and break apart the We Can't Wrestle we did, and then put this on there and make that the show.
Okay.
So, let's see. Write this down.
What is that thing?
That is Joker Finn Balor.
Let's see. Okay, yeah.
I was bored. I had an extra basic laying around.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I sent you that Tommy Dreamer Archie Mitchell bobblehead thing.
What?
Remember the Tommy Dreamer thing I got that we said looked like you?
Yeah.
I sent that to you. I forgot to tell you. I mailed it out yesterday. I forgot. I was going to tell you yesterday, and then we got all.
I know what you're talking about. That thing.
Yep.
Yeah, the Tommy Dreamer
Totally looks
thing.
like you.
Well,
But,
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm gonna customize it with like a We Can't Wrestle shirt or something like that. That's going right on top of that thing right there.
And I threw some Hasbros in there. You can tear apart if you want for
you
customs.
didn't have to do that. Thank you.
Oh
brother.
no! Yeah, no problem. But no, I mailed Chad's, because Chad, I didn't know till yesterday. I was talking to Chad and he collects CM Punk shit, and I didn't. Well, I guess I didn't know till a couple of days ago. So I made a box for him with some CM Punk stuff.
Right.
And then I shipped that box to you, and then we got the news about the house, so we got all wrapped up in that. And then I never told you guys that. I was like, I never told you guys that I shipped it. So
it would have been a surprise if you didn't tell me. I would have been like, "What the hell did Nate send me?" But it's better than what Cotton sends me when he doesn't tell me he sends some
right.
asshole. He's mad at me for being mad at him. Does that make sense?
For him, it does.
Yeah, I guess so. Right? He's like, "Why don't you talk to me anymore?" I'm like, "Because whenever I talk to you, you send me a box of dicks."
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe if I don't talk to you, you won't send me that shit. He's like, "What's the big deal?" I'm like, "You have entirely too much money. and too much time on your hands to send people dicks.
And it's only funny once.
Look, when he sent the gummy ones, I was like, okay, ha ha ha, very funny. The thing that exploded in my house, and my kids walked in on to see a bunch of confetti shaped like dicks in my living room, was like, now I got to clean this up. Mm-hmm. My wife's bitching that she's got to clean it up with me, and my kids are like, Dad, what are your friends sending you?
Right.
It's like, that's not necessary. Mm-hmm. You know? He's like, all right, how can I make it up to you? Like, find me an IWGP title. He's like, oh, I can find you one for $250. I'm like, no, I'm not paying. Like, you just find it and send it to my house.
Be damned if I'm paying. I've already paid. Yeah.
I'm not paying anymore.
I got a vacuum cleaner full of glitter dicks. Are you kidding me? Right. Yeah. Aaron, the look at Aaron's face is priceless.
Here's the crack up. I opened up my recliner like a week ago, and 2-3 of those glitter things fell out. I'm like, motherfucker, they're still in the house.
That's like
glass.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Glitter's the worst. Like, Aaron knows. I'll still have glitter left over in my store from last Christmas when I'm setting this Christmas. Like, Jesus Christ, there's still glitter in here.
Right.
I just hope this Royal Rumble thing doesn't.
So, Nate, about a week ago, I took the wife to Big Lots because we were looking for chairs to go around our dining room table.
And it was like a fancy weekend out.
Yes, it was. It was.
Like, hey, baby. She was like,
Big Lots.
Hey, Arch. You haven't taken me anywhere fancy lately.
I'm taking you to Big Lots, baby.
I'm going to take you to Big Lots. And she was like, ooh.
So she's looking at the chairs. I go to the one
I feel attracted right now.
So I asked one of the workers, where are your wrestling figures, your toys? I was like, I don't think we carry wrestlers. Like, oh, okay.
Wrestlers.
So I walk into where the toy area is. Sure enough, there are no wrestlers on the shelf. She looks around a little more. She talks to one of the workers. They got to order what we want, whatever. Okay, we're walking out. There's a giant WrestleMania display in the front of the store with wrestling action figures in it. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. And I had to. Like, can I talk to you for something? Like, yeah, what seems to be the problem? You don't sell wrestlers? And I'm pointing to this giant WrestleMania thing.
WrestleMania.
He's like, oh, you meant toys. I'm like, well, I didn't think you had the Undertaker in the storage room just hanging out waiting for me to purchase. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know what you meant by wrestlers. But he said, I'm like, okay, no problem.
Oh, I think, although I do think Rosie works for Big Lots now.
No, he was like, oh, none of them sell either.
They had Drew McIntyre, Otis, and Andrade. And I'm like, I could have used the Andrade last week, but I bought him already.
Our Big Lots benefits here from the fact that our Walmart here is garbage.
Right.
Like, yeah. People don't like the Van Wert Walmart, so a lot of them come to Big Lots for anything they can't get from.
The reason I go to Big Lots here, like when you want the big thing of coffee, you know, like when you want the big Keurig pod set for like 40 Keurig pods for like $20, to me that's a steal at Big Lots. At Walmart, that thing is $65. Hey, I'll take a $40 cut, you know, in price. Or we want like mass amount of stuff, I'll go to Big Lots because Walmart doesn't have it. Plus, the people at Walmart are idiots.
Well, it's funny though. Where you can the amazing difference between you can tell a management team
definitely
in a store because like Aaron's Walmart is 20 miles from here,
right?
And it's clean and it's enjoyable to shop there, right? And I when I'm in there, I don't get angry.
Right.
Our Walmart here.
Angry when I'm in there.
Well, yeah, of course you do. But our Walmart here, I'm angry every time I'm in there. Like I literally, because Kendall works, she runs the Wood Forest Bank here.
Right.
So she works in the Walmart building.
Okay.
So I almost literally never have to go there because she's already there. So if we need something from Walmart, she just gets it. But anytime we have to go into this Walmart together, I'm just angry the whole time I'm in there.
Walked in there today, and I'm looking for printer paper that is like labels for like shipping.
Mhm.
I have the name, I have a picture of it, and I have it pulled up on Walmart.com. And I go to the worker and I'm like, can you tell me where to find this? He's like, yeah, you may want to try Staples. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, you sell this here? He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, sir, I'm on Walmart.com. It's right.
Walmart's in Jersey or Savage.
That's some shit where if I was working and
You would have
I'm a
fired whoever
manager,
told me that.
and I heard one of my associates say to a customer, hey, where can I find this? And they said, yeah, you might want to go to Staples. I would have the reaction that I just had.
Right.
But then you'd have to coach them.
But then I'd have to coach them.
So,
I'd be like, hey, Lance, that was really funny,
but not the right way
but
to
you
say
can't do that.
it. So,
And I have to
Okay.
coach you now.
okay, so I'm trying to explain to him that it's on .com. He's like, well, maybe we only sell it on .com. I'm like, okay. I go to Target, where I've bought it from before. Pull up a worker. Excuse me, can you tell me where to find this? And sure enough, this motherfucker looked at me and went, yeah, Staples. And I'm like, what is it with everybody telling me to go to Staples? So I found it in the aisle that I knew it would be in. I looked at my wife and I said, we need to just buy from Amazon from now on. I don't want coming to these stores anymore.
Everybody wants me to go to Staples.
But the way he said it to me, yeah, you might want to go to Staples for that. I'm like, what the fuck? You're willing to give up a commission right now or a sale because you don't want to help me find something?
Oh shit, that's funny. That popped me.
You might want to go to Staples. That's funny shit.
All right, let me see here. I'm gonna write this down, and Aaron, you take the lead. It's your show. Let me write the timestamp down, though.
Well, I don't know what I'm. Okay.
Now, to round out the show, Aaron is going to lead us through the Royal Rumble 1997 as we finish up this. It was.
Okay. You guys ready?
We are
Yeah,
ready.
sir.
All right. This is the Royal Rumble 1997 card. And I'm not going to, I don't want to say this. This is the 1997 Royal Rumble card. It's the matches that led into the Royal Rumble and then the main event. I'm not going to talk about the Royal Rumble right now. Archie dropped off. Is he still there?
Hold on. Let me see if I need to bring him back in because I stepped away from the computer.
Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Sorry about that. I got thrown out.
There he is.
I had to go to Staples.
Nate did that earlier with Chad. Fucked it all up.
Whatever.
Anyway, these are the non-Royal Rumble matches from the Royal Rumble 1997 pay-per-view. And if you guys have any comments you want to make from them, that's fine. It's the show opened with Triple H as the Intercontinental Champion versus Gold Dust. And Triple H was escorted to the ring by Mr. Hughes.
Mr. Hughes, yes.
And Triple H
was,
won that match.
I
Go
was
ahead.
never, even though I'm a fan of both guys, I know Aaron's heard me say this multiple times, but even though I'm a fan of both Hunter and Dustin, I was never a fan of them again. I did not like them against. I didn't like this feud. I didn't like them against
It
each
didn't
other.
feel natural, to no pun intended.
Right. It just, I don't know. They just, to me, they didn't mesh. And it is funny during this, because I recently watched this pay-per-view. It is funny during this match because Jim Ross says, I don't know what Mr. Hughes is, if he's a bodyguard or a butler.
Well, I don't
And,
know.
and Vince
Fuck you doing
Vince
there?
McMahon goes, well, he can only be a butler if he's gone to butler school. Thanks, Vince.
Dynamite dropping, Donnie.
Well, Triple H won that match, and then Ahmed Johnson defeated Farouk.
Ooh.
Yes. And I don't know, the feud with the Nation, I guess I'll say the first part of the feud with the Nation was probably the best stuff Ahmed ever did. It drug out too long,
Right.
but in the beginning it was cool, I thought.
Then, of course, he joins the Nation.
Yeah, which was bad. And the reason I think it was cool is because, again, we say this a lot about this time frame, but it was something different. Like you'd never seen,
Right.
you'd never, literally, especially the WWF, you'd never seen them push that racial button,
Right. Right.
like they did in that feud.
And then, with help from Paul Bearer, Vader defeats The Undertaker,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
which I was going to note that Vader also beat Bret Hart on a show we were talking about previously. So in 1 week, Vader beat Bret Hart clean on Raw and then beats The Undertaker. So when people are like, oh, Vince McMahon hated Vader or the WWF hated Vader, he just beat Bret Hart on Raw and now he just beat The Undertaker.
It wasn't Vince. From what I've heard, when you go back and listen to interviews between guys backstage and things like that, Vader was actually set to be the one to challenge Sid at the Survivor, at the where was it that they showed at this pay-per-view? I think this is Royal Rumble in San Antonio, right?
Now that it was supposed to be Shawn versus Vader.
Right. And Shawn didn't want to do business with Vader again because of what happened in their first match, and he told Vince, give me Sid instead. I'll drop it to Sid. I'll take a couple months off, and then I'll come back and get the belt back. So it was really Shawn's politicking that cost Vader his spot.
Yep. Shawn Michaels is one of my favorites of all time, but he was a real fucking douchebag.
Same here. Yep. He was
And
really
he
using it.
willing to say that, so it's not like
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I don't even think that, honestly, like, Shawn could say, oh, Vader was sloppy or whatever. I don't think it was the fact that Shawn honestly thought that Vader was sloppy. I think Shawn was afraid of Vader.
I think so, too. Vader used to potato people and hurt them and things like that by accident. So he was afraid Vader might give him too heavy of a shot and maybe take him out for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unless you guys have anything else on that match,
Nope.
Nope, go ahead.
Connect, Hector Garza, and Pero Aguirre, I can't speak, beat Franzo Guerrera, Heavy Metal, and Jerry Estrada.
Yes.
Hector Garza, I'm in. I'm sold. Anytime Hector Garza's in the ring, I'm watching it.
It was actually a decent match, too.
And anytime Pero Aguirre is going to stomp his feet and go, bah, I'm happy.
You know how you can tell that even though, Vince did this whole thing with what was this, CMLL or was it AAA? Which
CMLL. This was CMLL.
Vince just did this to counteract the luchador thing on WCW and didn't really care about it.
Yeah.
And the main way you can tell that is if you watch the matches that they have on any of their shows while they're doing this cross promotion deal, the heels and the baby faces, they always, there's only two musics.
Yeah.
There's one for the heels and one for the baby. It doesn't matter which heel, which baby face, whatever. They just designated two musics.
Right.
This is the Mexican guy's heel music, and this is the Mexican guy's babyface music, and that was it.
Yep.
And like you said, this was, or as Urge said, this was Vince's way of trying to. CW has the Mexican guys,
Right. See,
but WCW had they had the cool Mexican
right.
guys.
WCW took Mysterio, Psychosis, Juventud Guerrera. Vince took their fathers and their uncles. You know what I mean?
WCW had the advantage of
Right.
signing Conan.
Right. And Conan said, I will give you the door to Mexican wrestling.
Yes. And then
Because-
Vince McMahon had to work with, whatever whatever shady promoter was
I think Conan did it on purpose too. Conan was like, look, Eric, yeah. Vince was going to make me Max Moon and make me be a clown. You get to have all the luchadors. And Eric was like, yeah.
so Vince has to deal with Anthony Pena or whatever
Right.
that guy's name was. Yeah.
Antonio Pena.
Sorry.
But what I really love about the Royal Rumble, okay, what I really enjoy about it is the fact that when you watch a Royal Rumble, you get a glimpse into the talent roster of the WWF at that time.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
And this
Yeah.
roster was kind of lacking because they had to
This
bring in other
roster,
guys.
yeah, this roster was it's sketchy. So what I think I'll do is I'll give you guys the unless it's going to bore you, I'll give you the list of how they entered into the Royal Rumble and leave off who won it, and then I'll give you the order of elimination. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So right before it, just to say, Fink said, welcome to the Royal Rumble, and there are 60,477 people in attendance in the Alamo Dome.
So that means it was more like 54,000.
20,000 paid.
Yeah.
So he's like, hello, everybody, and he tells you about that. So,
This was the first year that they started doing it in quicker intervals, right?
No,
I was gonna say that too.
it's not. They did a minute in 95.
Right. Okay.
This year it's 90 seconds.
Okay.
97. The 97 Royal Rumble is 90 seconds. The first entry, and I also put a D next to everybody that's dead.
Okay.
That's morbid, but I
It
did.
is. It is. But you did your homework.
I always do, man.
I didn't mean that as a knock, Eric.
I put in the effort.
I know you do.
This is how everybody entered into the Royal Rumble. The first entrant, Crush. He was in the Nation of Domination.
Oh, man.
The second entry was Ahmed Johnson.
Ooh, he's going to get some nation ass. And Crush being a former inmate, he might not mind that much.
Third entrant, Fake Razor.
Rick Bobby.
Whose music doesn't go, the buzzer doesn't go, like he just comes out.
Comes lumbering out. He's just like, I'm going into the Rumble.
And Vince McMahon says, hey, I think our clock and buzzer are broke. We don't know what's going on. He really says that. He's like, yeah, there's a problem with the clock and the buzzer. Whatever.
That's what you say when you become impotent as well.
Right.
My clock and buzzer are gone.
Clock and buzzer.
Anyway, sorry.
So Rick Bogner comes strolling out to the ring.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the fourth entrant is Phineas Godwin.
Woohoo!
And then the fifth entrance is Steve Austin. And the music plays this time.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's weird. It wasn't weird at the time, but it's weird listening to it now, hearing the glass shatter and nobody responds.
Yeah. It's just like dun 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 dun. And then you can hear it
Coming out,
clearly.
it's like a year from now, people are going to be losing their fucking
Right.
minds. But now they're just like, whatever.
Who's this?
Yeah. Then number 6 is Bart Gunn. Then Jake Roberts. Then Davey Boy Smith. And then
He's bizarre.
He's bizarre.
He's bizarre. Roth, who Jim Ross points out, Pierre Roth is the AAA champion of champions.
Yes.
And then 10 is the Sultan with the Iron Sheik in tow. If you guys don't know
make
the
make addition, aka make a difference Fatu.
And then Mil Mascaras, which I want to ask you guys, why did anybody give a fuck about Mil Mascaras?
You mean in this match or in general?
In general.
I don't know.
In his time in Mexico, 30 years before not 30 years before this, but 20 years before
It's
this.
close to it.
Still boring.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting close. In his time in Mexico,
He was still boring.
let me finish. You asked the question.
Okay.
I pride myself on being the lucha guy around here. In his time in Mexico, for the other guys that he was in the ring with, for the other guys that were being presented, he was different, and he was actually more athletic. Like at this point, he's old, he's belligerent. He's essentially, this doesn't work for me, Hulk Hogan. This doesn't work for me, brother or senior or whatever. At this point in his career, but during his heyday, he was ultra charismatic and different, and you would just have to see some of that stuff, and you know, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it to you, because I can see what you're saying, especially for what you've probably seen of Mill, but as a guy, I always heard he was kind of a piece of crap, but whatever.
Well, I mean, that's case in point here in the Royal Rumble too, because he refused to let anybody eliminate him, so he dove off the top rope.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
eliminated
get,
himself.
we're gonna get there, buddy. Don't worry. We're gonna get
Hey. I
Get
respect you, Booker man.
all right. Junior Booker Man. I am the junior Booker Man.
You will always be
I
the
don't-
Booker man to me.
No. See, I ride Nate's coattails.
No, you do not.
We've already
Nate-
established I don't have tops and tails.
Nate doesn't wear a coat.
I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm just a fucking
Just
mushhead
move on.
that has no idea
Move on.
how to fucking run a show
Move on.
without Nate.
All right, so Mil Mascaras comes out in all his retired glory.
Yeah, in all his retarded glory.
Retired, I said.
Okay.
I have never uttered that word on this show.
Well, then Hunter comes out. So Triple H comes out, and then the next person is Owen Hart, and he does something funny to me. Like I actually wrote about out, and he has his 2 slammies, and as he's coming out, he's just walking, like he's not running out or anything. And Mike Chioda looks at him, and he shoves his slammies in Kyoto's face and goes, "Shut up, Kyoto. Hold my slammies." Fucking crack me up. And then Goldust is out next. And then Cibernetico comes out.
Ooh, Cibernetico.
And Vince McMahon has no fucking idea who Cibernetico is.
Yep.
Like, He comes out, and it's like, her, and then Cybernetico comes out, and Vince is like, well, here comes, and then Jim Ross is like, that's Cybernetico, and Jim's like, yeah. Vince is like, yeah, Cybernetico. Vince has no fucking idea who this guy is. It put me in mind of what it might have been like with those two guys like driving in a car.
Right.
And Jim Ross is like, hey, Vince, we got these AAA guys and Cybernetico is gonna, and Vince is like, who? And JR basically explains to Vince who Cybernetico is. And then after that, Mark Marrow comes out and he sucks, which everybody knows.
Of course.
Then the Latin Lover. He's 17.
I think he was about 19 years, so you're right.
Then Farouk comes out.
Ooh. Is Ahmed still in there?
No, Ahmed chases him away with a. Nate knows about that.
A gigantic board.
A gigantic board, yes.
Then there's Savio Vega. Then Brian James, which is obviously Jesse James.
Ah.
And Steve Austin is just killing these people.
Oh,
as
yeah.
it's going on. Like, he's just killing them. And it is one of my favorite moments in professional wrestling history. Steve Austin was just killing people in this fucking Rumble. And then Brett's music hits as Steve's sitting
His
on
face
the
says it
rope.
all.
And he's just like, holy shit.
Yep.
It's Brett now. Like, it's one of the most fantastic images
Definitely.
and moments in wrestling
Definitely.
history that nobody ever fucking mentions or talks about.
Oh, this Rumble match is a watershed moment in Austin's career. Like the
Definitely.
whole thing, the way that it's structured and everything, you know, it's and of course, obviously this didn't hit on the same level because he was no Steve Austin, but it's like Diesel in '94, you know, it's a watershed moment for his career. Yeah,
Right.
he'd done the Austin 316 promo, but then, and he had the feud with Brett, but he didn't have that, they hadn't put that confidence in him yet.
Right.
And this
Still got a
Rumble
couple
match,
months.
yeah, this Rumble match was where you could see Vince McMahon now has confidence in Steve Austin.
It's almost like Vince went out and told him, look, you're going to be eliminating like 10 people tonight. As you're eliminating them, do and say whatever you want. And Austin was like, oh, okay. And, you know, they took the collar off the Rottweiler finally.
Yes.
And he played to it. The looking at the fake watch and the calling out for more people. Then when Brett's music hits and he goes, oh my God, it's like all of his ego goes out the door. And he's like, this motherfucker's out here and he's going to eliminate me because I haven't beat him yet. You know, I can't beat him.
Well, I mean, do you remember when they had the VHS tapes and they had the Stone Cold Said So VHS tape?
Yep.
I love watching because I have that. I don't have the VHS tape anymore, but I have when they re-released them on DVD.
Yeah.
I have that. And one of my favorite things to watch on that is to watch him in character narrate the highlights from this Rumble because he's telling you, like, you know the classic moment where he's like shaking his head and shit at Phineas while Phineas is on the ground. He's telling you, he's like, I told him, you're out of the ring now, you son of a bitch. and just, I mean, it's just so much fun to watch him narrate the moments from this Rumble. And yeah, get out of here, you piece of trash. So who was next, Aaron? After
Brett is Jerry Lawler. And Jerry Lawler during this entire thing is on commentary.
Yep.
Okay. He's on commentary for the entire Rumble. And he's just like, man, if I was in there right now, I'd be eliminating everybody. I'd be kicking their ass. I'd be doing this. I'd be doing that. And I'm going to tell you this. And then he stops his sentence.
No, he actually says it's good to be the king. He says it's good to be.
And then his music hits. He walks in the ring. Brett hits him,
One time,
falls out of the ring,
falls out of the ring.
and then goes back to commentary and goes,
The king.
"The
The
king."
king. With his eyes
And then
closed.
completely
With his
forgets.
eyes all closed, and it's like it's never even happened.
Never even happened. It's great. And then fake Diesel comes in, which is Kane.
No.
Yeah.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm
Next, you're
serious.
going to tell me it was Isaac Hayes.
That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane.
Kane.
No, you guys are lying. Kane's the mayor of Tennessee. You can't lie to me about that.
And then Terry Funk enters the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And then Rocky Maivia.
The blue
And
chipper.
And then after that, Flash Funk enters
Oh.
the Royal Rumble.
Oh, man. Too Cold Scorpio.
How great was Too Cold Scorpio?
Super
Not as
fucking
Flash,
great.
not as Flash Funk.
Well, even as Flash Funk, I mean, Too Cold Scorpio was a fucking talent.
Oh, no. In WCW and ECW is great. In WWF, not so much.
Then we get Vader. And then we get Henry Godwin. And then we get The Undertaker.
At 30.
And Undertaker's at 30.
And this entrance for Taker is weird because they do none of the theatrics.
Right.
But he just comes out.
Yeah, I mean his music's playing, but he just comes out.
He's like, I ain't getting dressed back up and all that shit. Just let me walk to the ring.
All right. And then not trying to get off a topic. We're going to go into those are all the orders of entry, and then we'll do now order of elimination, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. We got all the people that entered in the Royal Rumble. Now here is every single person that eliminated everybody. And I wrote that down. So, order of elimination in this 1997 Royal Rumble. Fake Razor was eliminated by Ahmed Johnson.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Then Ahmed Johnson eliminated himself.
Of course.
Which made no sense.
Then Crush was eliminated by Phineas Godwin. And then Phineas Godwin was eliminated by Steve Austin.
Stone Cold. Stone Cold.
Which is where Nate was talking about, like, oh, look at you, you stinky piece of trash. On that VHS tape. That's funny.
Yeah, Austin puts the mouth on him.
Yeah. And then Bart Gunn is eliminated by Steve Austin.
Yep.
Then Jake Roberts is eliminated by Steve Austin. Then the Sultan is eliminated by Bulldog, which the Sultan couldn't talk because his tongue got cut out. We forget to talk about that. That was his gimmick. That's why he wore the fucking mouth guard, because his tongue got cut out.
So he wore the mouth guard so his tongue wouldn't fall out of his mouth while he was wrestling? I don't
He
understand.
didn't have a tongue.
So why did he need a mouth guard?
So his mouth stump didn't look disgusting to everybody else.
Okay.
And then the Bulldog was eliminated by Owen. And I think, honestly, I could be wrong, and I might be, but I honestly think they were pushing towards WrestleMania 13. I think Owen was supposed to fight Bulldog. I think that was going to be
They were teasing it. They were
I
teasing
agree.
it for months.
There was a lot of shit that got changed because even not just involving Brett and Steve, but there was a lot of stuff that
Right.
got changed. I don't think Aaron, and I could be wrong. We weren't in the booking meetings. I don't think that they were planning for Owen and Bulldog at Mania, because I think they were planning for Bulldog and Austin at Mania.
Maybe.
But I do think that they were planning on breaking Owen and Bulldog up quicker than they did, and then the Hart Foundation thing came up, so then they went with, you know what I mean? Then they went with that.
Yeah.
But they were definitely planting the seeds for a breakup.
And then Cibernetico got eliminated by Mil Mascaras. And then the masked man baby Mil Mascaras eliminated himself. Like, Mil Mascaras is such an asshole that he couldn't even let somebody eliminate him from the Royal Rumble. This piece of shit had to be such a big dogger that he had to eliminate himself.
He was too big of a name.
What a see you next Tuesday, Mil Mascaras is.
I find it hard to believe that if they would have brought
Anybody
in
would give a
Antonio
shit if
Inoki,
Mil Mascaras got eliminated by somebody. Fuck him.
You know what I'm saying, Nate? Like, if they would have brought in an Antonio Inoki or any of the other bigger names from our right.
So fuck Mil Mascaras, but he eliminated himself.
Archie froze up. Go ahead. Keep going, though.
Okay. Then Hunter got eliminated by Goldust. And then Goldust got eliminated by Owen. Then the Latin Lover got eliminated by Farouk. And then Ahmed Johnson showed up with this big wood.
That's an image to me that is like, I laugh every time I watch it. Like
Johnson
trying
his wood around.
And well, not just that, but like, since it was so big, like he was having trouble swinging it, so it's like awkward, you know.
Yeah. So Johnson swung his big wood at Farouk and he ran away. I phrased it that way on purpose. And then Owen got eliminated by Austin. And then Mark Merrow got eliminated by Austin. And then Savio got eliminated by Austin. Then Jesse James got eliminated by Austin. And now we roll into the screwjob finish of this. Maybe we don't even get into it yet. I don't want to say it. Like, Rocky Maivia got eliminated by Mankind. Terry Funk and Mankind eliminated themselves. And then we roll into this clunky finish. It's not, and I don't say clunky finish on the fact that it was bad. Right. I just say that Steve got eliminated, but the officials didn't see it. And then he comes back because Brett eliminated basically everybody. And then Steve dumps out Brett at the end of it. And none of the referees saw that Steve got eliminated. And then Steve Austin is, boom, the winner of the 1997 Royal Rumble. And I know we talked about previously on one of your shows about how the 96 King of the Ring was a big deal for Steve, but I think this is a bigger deal for him.
It is, and also it's like Archie's back.
Yes, I'm sorry, my phone decided to die out.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We were just talking about the finish of the Rumble and Aaron was saying that the finish of this Rumble is, well, go ahead, Aaron. Like, what was your your point there as far as
My point was that I know that we had talked about, like, in the King of the Ring 96, it being a big deal for Steve because, Austin 316 says, I just whooped your ass or whatever. But this Royal Rumble, to me, was more of the coming out party for Steve Austin because he beat all these guys. He was eliminating all these guys left and right, left and right, left and right. And then at the end of it, he did something shitty at the end of it. You know, like, he's still heel Steve Austin. He's still fucking people over. And it's fantastic, the story that they fucking tell in it. And
well,
go ahead, sorry.
well, no, I was just going to say this Rumble and everything leading up to it. Probably, let's say from Survivor Series 96 leading to this Rumble, you see a stark difference and a change in the way that Vince or whatever, whoever has convinced him, the way that they tell stories.
Right.
Everything becomes so much more multi-layered and so much more interesting and so much more, wow, man, I don't know what's going to fucking happen, you know? And this catches you to want to see what's going to happen week to week because these characters now have, they're not cookie cutter. They're not cartoons. Right. They're not cartoons. We're done with that. They are athletes with grudges and issues and
like not to step on you. I told you about how like I thought, oh, this is the coming out party for Steve, but this is the breaking off point for Brett being like, what the fuck?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, this is it. I didn't see it as a kid, but I see it now.
Right.
For Brett to be like, you guys are fucking me over.
Well, it wasn't.
You know what I mean? Like, no, you guys are fucking me. Like, I won this goddamn thing, and this guy.
It wasn't just that. I look at it as when Brett came back to fight Austin, they had a great matchup, and even Vince McMahon said the following night on Raw that Brett and Steve set a standard, a new standard for WWF. Then Austin wins the King of the Ring. Now we get to Royal Rumble. He screws Brett out of winning the Royal Rumble. Brett starts getting a little more complacent and started, you know, you guys are screwing me, like you said, Aaron. But then we get to that match between them with Ken Shamrock as the referee, which is coming up. We'll talk about that. But that was where they switched. You know, Austin went from that asshole heel to that tweener, and Brett went to straight heel. You know, that it all made sense now.
Yeah,
for a year's worth of build, it finally made sense, and we were like, okay, good, let's go.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, this fucking Rumble, like, I didn't see it as a kid, but looking at it as an adult, like, as a kid, you were like, oh man, Brett's being an ass. Like, what's he doing?
Right.
But you look at it now, and you're like, you know what?
Brett was right.
Brett was right.
Why did Millmaster let Bret Hart eliminate him?
He got fucked over at the 97.
Yeah, you're like, Bret Hart has a legitimate grievance.
Yeah, Bret is correct. Bret is correct.
As a child, we were all like, yeah, he's so cold, fuck Bret. As an adult, we're like, really, Austin? Really? You did
like,
that?
Bret Hart is the Frank Costanza of wrestling. He's like, it's time for the airing of the grievances.
Yeah. and I understand them now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. See, but here's the thing of it.
When I looked at him before, I was like, who is this Jerry curled guy with his jeans tucked into his boots just bitching? But I look at it now and I'm like, Bret was right. He got screwed in 1997.
Royally.
And I'm sure
rumbled.
Royally rumble screwed.
Royally rumble screwed.
and I'm sure as your show goes on through 97, you'll be addressing it. This is why, and I don't want to get off on a tangent and float away from the Rumble here, but this is why I always say that the 97 Bret Hart heel run is my favorite heel run in wrestling history because it's like Michael Hayes said, the best heels believe in their heart that they're right.
Right.
And you can watch Bret's promos throughout 97, and Aaron will be covering it plenty on the show. Everything he says in his heart, in his mind, from his perspective, is absolutely fucking true. Right. Yes, it's true. You got the fans turned on me. You're siding with this dirty hyena, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love it when he calls him hyena.
Goddamn Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I won that
Rumble.
Goddamn thing.
Yes. All right, rolling on.
That's the end of it.
No,
it's not. You still have the title match.
Event.
Oh, that fucking main event.
Yeah, the
that main event is
the Jose Lothario Memorial
That
Cup.
main event is the most papered main event in the history of professional wrestling. They put so many fucking people in that arena that didn't fucking buy a ticket. Jesus Christ.
All right. So I watched something on YouTube about a week ago where the guy that was doing the top 10 list mentions that Vince McMahon was trying his hardest to put Shawn Michaels over in preparation of this match. Mm-hmm. And Vince McMahon, during an episode of Raw, I think it was the one just before this Royal Rumble, says fans are trying to boo Shawn Michaels because he is a handsome ladies' man and because of his bravado and his ego. And it's only because of that they cheered Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid at the Survivor Series and all that. And Jim Ross turns and looks at Vince and goes, I think there's a little more to do with that than just him being a ladies' man, Vince. I think the fans see exactly what I'm talking about, too, but I think you're going to try to cover it up because this is at the time Jim Ross was being a heel. And when I heard that played back, I went, wow, JR was right, because to this day, Vince tries to tell fans why they're booing and why they're cheering, not letting them do it organically.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
People were booing Shawn because he was a cartoon character and wasn't actually letting a good match go on anymore, except for
exactly. And that's the thing I'll say, and it's half Shawn's fault because of his ego and because of the position that he was in at the time in his life, but it also rests on Vince because Vince did with Shawn what he did with Roman.
Right.
What got Shawn over, what turned him babyface, what made people start cheering him. By the time they got to WrestleMania 12,
was the boyhood dream.
They squelched that. Right. And they made it more cheesy, you know.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's like I don't dislike Shawn Michaels. I don't. No. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Shawn Michaels is in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. Okay, he's not my top 5, but he's in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. But when that was going on, 1996, Aaron was like, Sid is the fucking man.
Right.
Like, if you're going to build, like, if you, I don't want to say this, like, if you plop in a fucking video game and it goes, oh, create a wrestler mode.
Right.
Do I create Shawn Michaels? Or do I create like Sid? Like Sid is the fucking quintessential professional wrestler image.
Well, he is the master and ruler of the world.
He's not the greatest professional wrestler ever. But if you're going to draw, like, okay, I look at somebody and say, draw me a professional wrestler. They're going to draw you fucking Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was fucking nuts, and his promos were insane, and all that shit. Like, Sid was the man at that time, in my opinion.
I agree. That's
And
why you had to kill Jose Lothario in Survivor Series.
and this pay-per-view should have ended with that goddamn Royal Rumble, in my opinion. But it was, the Alamo Dome was papered and it was bad, and it was just cheesy shit with Shawn Michaels.
How were you going to let? How were they going to let Shawn Michaels lose in his hometown while wearing pants with the state of Texas on them?
Well, I know he wasn't.
You know what I mean? No. I'm
What
saying though, they
like,
made it too obvious, though, is what I'm saying. Like, you
Yeah.
knew it was going to happen. Like, nobody thought, oh, well, Shawn's definitely winning at WrestleMania. There was the opportunity where Brett could have won that Iron Man match, and we all would have went about our day. But everybody going in that last 2 weeks leading into this Royal Rumble was like, Shawn's winning it no matter what. You know, this is Shawn Michaels is going to win whether he wants to or not. That's what this was.
yeah,
You know?
the 1997 Royal Rumble is one of my favorite pay-per-views, but is one of the most like anticlimactic main events ever.
For the main event, yes.
That's because the and I know we've pretty much in 1,000 words said what I'm about to say in a few words, but it's because ultimately, regardless of anything else that happened on the show, a great Royal Rumble match. It's actually my second favorite Rumble match behind 92. But at the end of the day, this was a Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels vanity project.
Without a doubt.
And I think that's what you're kind of getting at, Aaron. Like the end of it, like you said, anticlimactic, because it was all about Shawn being in his hometown in a big stadium, you know, because he's got an ego and he's got to compete with people from the past, like a Hulk Hogan or what have you, as being the biggest star in wrestling. And yeah, at the end of the day, the main event is definitely anticlimactic. And again, Shawn Michaels is like my third favorite wrestler of all time, maybe second. But at this time, Shawn was all about Shawn. And Vince was all about Shawn. So that's what you get.
Yep. I agree.
I don't think Shawn and Vince were gay for each other.
I think Vince wanted to be gay for Shawn, but Shawn wasn't having it.
Road Warrior Hawk said they were fucking, but
I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that, but I know as far as a talent goes, what I can tell you is Shawn definitely, during that Click era, when Nash and Hall were still around, and blah blah blah, they gained so much stroke with Vince.
Oh yeah,
and convinced him so much that they were the top guys that now he's just left with one of them.
Here's the thing, though.
He let it get ahead of him.
Here's the thing, though. They're telling Vince, we're the top guys. You need us. We're the moneymakers, right? But then when you go back and look at on paper, when Diesel was the champion, that was one of the times they were drawing the worst ratings and not that great of house. You know, that many great gates. When Shawn won the title, again, not that great of ratings and not that great of gates. It wasn't until Brett or Austin had the belt that there was something good going on. So for you to sit there and convince the chairman of a multi-million-dollar company, oh, we're the guys, you got to put us on the top. And then all you have to do is look at the damn paper. You know what I mean? WCW's doing a 3.4 at this time, and we're doing a 2.2.
That's where they get credit for being master politicians.
Well, they must have put blinders on him and, like, I don't know, gave him a bunch of coke or something.
All right. Anything else, Aaron, to wrap your show up here?
Nope. Apparently, fucking Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels were gay together, and the Royal Rumble '97 was pretty cool. Eat it, bitches.
And we just want to say there's nothing wrong with them being gay with each other.
Who's the top?
I'm not getting into this conversation. I refuse to.
I think Vince is the top.
Pat Patterson sitting in the corner.
With a bottle of red wine. Looking at Vince
With
going,
a bottle of red wine.
and all you keep hearing him say real quietly is slower. Slower. Slow down.
Take the banana.
All right, Aaron. Well, this is your show. You do the rap. Thank your listeners and etc.
The what? The rap?
The rap.
Oh,
Okay.
The hippies of the hop to the hip.
He wants you to take us out by singing the Too Cold Scorpio song.
everybody look at Scorpio.
I knew he'd do it. That's why I said for him to do it.
When that fat bitch is scared that Too Cold Scorpio, like that's what I don't understand. Like, was she excited that Too Cold Scorpio was there, or was she warning people?
She sounds more frightened to me.
Yeah, like she's like, "Look out, everybody! Here comes Too Cold Scorpio." Like, is she warning the children, or is she excited about it?
She's like, too cold! Scorpio!
She's like, "Look out! Here comes Too Cold Scorpio."
All Too Cold's doing is that stupid dance stuck in a basketball.
And then he slams it on that fucking fat white kid. That's a fucking great video.
That's what she was warning against.
Yeah.
She didn't
We'll
want
talk
that kid
about-
to get dunked on.
We'll talk about that in a later episode. But to wrap it up, go ahead and download WrestleNet Radio, which is the great streaming service that you can get that's provided by my brother Nate. And also listen to the We Can't Wrestle podcast and the Relive in the Extreme podcast with me, Nate, and Chad, where we discuss ECW, which is fantastic and ridiculous all at the same time. And then there's also If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking by good buddy Archie Mitchell.
Thank you, sir.
He's Joey Style in that shit. He's like a one-man band on there.
I'm a one-man band.
Yeah.
And he got kids.
I do have kids.
And if you guys are not listening to any of this, what the fuck are you doing here now?
Right.
Listen, download, like, 5-star review, do all of that shit, and just support what we are all doing, because I am doing this shit for free.
Right.
know
We didn't
most
actually
people
need to pay
do it
$1.
for free.
We didn't actually get for
Nate's
$1.
paying us nothing.
And I'm losing money.
Nate is losing money. Nate was in a house, and he just told me him and Kendall are now in a car, and that's where they're living now. Get Nate and Kendall out of the car.
We did get approved for a loan though, so we're upgrading. We're gonna be living in a '76 Granada.
Yeah, Nate and Kendall are now living in a motley coupe. Get them out of the motley coupe.
Oh, God.
At least move them into a sedan.
Not the Sudan. We don't want to have to go to the Sudan.
Yeah. And we're living in a motley coupe. We need them out of that and into a sedan. Please support them.
Oh, my God. Best rap ever.
Please.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night, everyone. You're living in a car.